Your team, so we are here today to talk about something that can literally save people hours every week, which is workflow automation. But before we move forward, I would like to explain to you what is workflow automation. Let's break it down in a way we wish someone explain it to us when we get started. What is workflow in simple terms? Honestly, it is just a set of steps that run automatically when something happens, like someone fills a form and boom, an email gets sent. Database updates. You didn't get to lift a finger, but things are get done. It's like having a digital assistant that never sleeps. Now, why does workflow matter? Because workflow automation frees you from boring repetitive stuff, sending follow-ups, updating sheets, assigning tasks, all those time-sucking things that kill productivity. And when you use a tool like Opendashboard, it gets even more smoother. You can build a workflow that handles everything from onboarding to lead tracking to no code, drama, and it's just a drag and drop on the go. Now, let me walk you through the key pieces of Open Dashboard workflow elements. Yeah, with me, I have different people to talk on different things today. And Mujala, you start off with us with triggers.
Thank you, Marvelous. A trigger is what starts a workflow. It's the first action that launches the automation process. A trigger can be time based, like running on a schedule. It can run daily, hourly, weekly, monthly. It can it can also trigger based on records, database records that you have, based on the record created, records updated, or records deleted, or on demand, which is activated by a database or another workflow or page. For example, when an when a customer fills out a sign-up form, an action immediately triggers the workflow. The next thing we'll talk about is an action. What is an action? I'll let Shegun tell us more about that.
Okay. Thank you, Mojala, for going over trigger. As Mojala has said, a trigger is what starts a workflow, and we can see here there are several triggers from on demand, which is something you'd call whenever you want to start the automation manually, or you can use open dashboard triggers when a record is created, updated, deleted, unscheduled, which you trigger it at a scheduled time, either daily, weekly, monthly, or at a particular time. Or you can use webhooks, you call an API endpoint. And interestingly, you can use a Gmail trigger such that when you receive a new email on Gmail, it starts a workflow. Or you have things like Google Drive, on file created, on file updated, and also another webhook. So that is triggers. Now action is what you do in your automation. So once the automation gets triggered, what is it supposed to do? Can I give an example where if someone fills in your sign up form, you automatically send them an email. So the email that you're getting, that you're sending in this case, is actually the action. And we have several actions here from creating approval link and waiting for approval to sending an HTTP request, basically calling several APIs to integrate other services. We have things like on demand calling another workflow. Essentially, you can call another workflow from within one workflow. Then we have other actions in open dashboard, such as finding a record by ID, creating a record, updating a record, deleting record, sending an email, creating reminder, leveraging open dashboards AI capabilities to generate content from AI. Then you also have integrations with Gmail, such as sending an email, creating a draft for you to send later, and marking an email you receive as read. Then you also have actions like listing your files on Google Drive, uploading a file to Google Drive, creating a folder, deleting a file. You also have HTTP for calling an API. You also have an open AI integration such that you can generate content from OpenAI. You can do a text to speech. You can also generate an image using OpenAI's new ChatGPT image model, which is really good, by the way. So there are several actions here. Yeah, we see with YouTube you can upload a video directly. So yeah, actions generally are just things you do, are the actions you take, or the steps you take to actually automate the business process once the workflow gets triggered. So I would pass it over to Marvelous to talk about the next key element in workflow, which is branching. So Marvelous, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You've said it all as regard action. And there is a part of action that you didn't talk much more on, which I'm going to talk much more on, which is the branching. And branching is something I call what if or else logic. This is the brain of the workflow. And it helps your workflow make smarter decisions based on certain conditions. And if you are setting a branching, you have to put your conditions here. As you can see, the condition it is either equals, not equals, contain. You have different conditions based on what you want your workflow to do. And for example, if the amount is over $1,000, let's say the amount is over $1,000, the workflow send a manager an approval link. You can use this branching to set this kind of thing up. Or let's say in a scenario whereby you want something done, and if this thing is not done, send an email. This branching is like the brain deciding what to be done and what is not to be done. It is like your workflow saying, hmm, let me think about this thing before deciding what to do or what to do next. Branching helps you handle more complex scenarios without making things messy. So before I move on, there are other part of actions I still want us to talk about, like the delay aspect and the loop. So I'll hand over to Shegun again to talk about the loop for us.
So thank you so much, Marvelous, for that. So yeah, Marvelous has talked about branching. Yeah, like if you want your workflow to be smarter and not just follow a straightforward, one direction path, then use branching. If something, then do something. If something else, then do something else. So now I'm gonna talk about loop. Um, Loop is an interesting concept, an interesting element in workflow, such that for every item within the loop, you do something. So say you want to send an update for every uncompleted task in your workflow. You can simply say find all of the previous tasks that are uncompleted, and for every one of them, then do something. Or say you want to leverage AI to actually generate content for you, but you want the AI to be able to you want to give the AI feedback that you don't like this content, regenerate it up to a certain number of times. And if you're happy with what the AI comes up with, then you can simply continue. So to achieve something like that, you need a loop. So yeah, a loop really is just an element inside the workflow that tells us that for every item within this loop, just do these actions. And so yeah, that is loop. That is loop in a nutshell. It helps you, perform the same task on repeated items, without having to like, create like a very, complex workflows that, can be very, very hard to understand and implement. So yeah, I'll pass it over to Marvelous now to talk about delay in workflows. Over to you,
Yeah,
Marvelous.
thank you very much, Shegun. You said a whole lot of things. And also, as regard the delay, delay is also a part of the actions on Open Dashboard. As you can see, delay is part of the actions on Open Dashboard. And delay functions like you telling you to pause the workflow for a specific amount of time before the next action of rule. So now I'm showing you this delay. I'm trying to delay this workflow for you can delay for a specific number of time. You can delay till a date. You can delay till a daytime. And there are several examples of how to use delay. You can wait for 2 days after a lead sign up before sending a follow-up email. Like I said earlier, when using branching, let's say if if a customer does this, send a follow-up email, and you want to delay it, you don't want to bombard them with an email instantly, you can use delay as the next action there before the follow-up email. And you can also use it to send a document before um, till a specific amount of time, let's say until a date, let's say until 25th of December 2027. So that is the function of the delay. And next thing we'll be doing is we'll be showing you how to combine all these things into a real life scenario, into a real life use cases. We've talked about how you can use trigger, we've talked about how you can use actions, different actions on Open Dashboard, which involves um, the action, the delay, the branching, the loop, and there are many more. And a lot of you will be curious, okay, how can I combine this thing to make a workflow? So starting with us is Shegun, which will be showing us his first use real cases on how to combine these elements, these key elements of on Open Dashboard to something everyone wants. Thank you very much, Shegun. You can take it from there.
Yeah, thank you, Marvelous, for that. So I'll be going over a use case for workflow for HR onboarding. And HR is a task. Onboarding is a task that involves a lot of processes, such as giving the new employee access to the company's workspace, the company's Google Drive, the company's this information, the company's wiki, um, accessing, other necessary informations that this person being onboarded needs to know. It also involves sending this person like the company policy for the person to review, then potentially taking some courses. And there's a lot of information dump that usually happens during HR onboarding, during the onboarding process for a new hire. So this is a workflow automation that someone in HR can actually use to simplify their processes. So in this workflow, we have a we have the trigger as on record updated, and we see that we're actually reading from this database company directory. And if I go to company directory, we can see that this company directory actually has the information of every employee in this company. It also contains information like their start dates, the documents signed, onboarding complete, onboarding status. Yeah, it contains all of these informations, and it's helps our workflow work smarter. So coming back here, we see that if a record is updated in the company directory, and we have three filters. The first filter is if the onboarding status is not started, and if the email is not empty, and if the start date is not empty. Essentially, what that means is, once we put the start date and we put the onboarding status as not started, it automatically triggers this workflow to actually begin. Now, the next thing that happens once this gets triggered is we update the record and set the onboarding status to is in progress. That way, we know that onboarding has started. Now, the next thing is we delay until the start date for this person. So delay until this person's resumption date. Once that is done, figure out what is this department. this person is supposed to be on, or this person is on. The next thing is to send an email to this person. Welcome to Open Dashboard. We're excited to have you on board. And some other information. Here's what to expect today. Your onboarding schedule is ready on your calendar. You will meet your manager. You have access to the workspace and essential tools by this time, and just a general welcome email. Then we have a second email that is sent, to general. In this case, like everybody is supposed to see it. Please welcome, the person's name to the Open Dashboard team. Again, a welcome email sent to the whole team. So the whole team is aware that someone new is joining the team. Now, this step could actually be replaced by sending a message to Slack for teams that are using Slack. You can simply replace this step and just send a message to your general channel on Slack. And for teams that are using things like Basecamp, Mattermost, and some other softwares like that, Teams communication softwares like Teams, yeah, you can simply replace that step. You can replace this step with sending a message to the general channel that everyone can see. And finally, we have another email that is sent, your Open Dashboard starter pack. Again, this is just containing information, bio information, links to the company and book, link to the company knowledge base, the tools and access, the policies, time of policy, remote work policy, expense policy, and just general information that this person needs to know when joining this company. Then after that, we delay till 5 p.m. on that day, and now send another email. How was your first day? Now, we're waiting till the end of the day and sending this person's email. We want to get your feedback. How was your first day in this, in our organization? We hope it was good. We hope it went well. Anything you loved, anything was confusing or missing, just let us know. That way, it will help us improve our onboarding process. Now, we delay for a week and we send another email. 1 week in, how is it going? Similar to the first email we sent at the end of the first day. Now we are checking on this person again. What is your feedback on being onboarded into this company for the past 1 week? Has things been challenging? Any blockers that you've run into? What has been going well? Let us know. This will help us improve our onboarding. And we send that. Now we delay for an extra 3 weeks, making it a complete 4 weeks, essentially a month. We send another final email. 1 month in, what are your thoughts? Can you believe it's already 1 month in? We're glad to have you here, and we'd love to hear how things are going. In a few minutes, share your thoughts on what's been the most valuable or surprising. What's been most valuable or surprising about your first month? How will you describe your onboarding experience? This definitely shows to this person that this company actually cares about you know, what I, I think about their process. It's not just me coming here to do a job. I'm not just like an head count, a labor in their employee pool. Like I'm someone that they really, really care about my experience. And a happy employee usually is a happy company. Like once the people within the company are happy and are really good and are doing good work, then the company thrives as a result of that. So 1 month in, we send another email. I'm just asking them for their feedback and making sure that things are going fine. Then finally, we update the onboarding status and mark it as completed. And so yeah, this is a playbook for HR, for people in HR, people and culture and related roles to automate their onboarding process. Yeah, I'll
Yes,
pass it to Mojela to talk about sales funnel.
Now, let's take a look at a real life scenario that is easy to relate to, a sales funnel. If you're in a business space, one of your main goals is to convert leads. And the best way to track this is by following the stages
of your interaction with each prospect. Before diving into the sales workflow, let me explain the structure of the lead record. Each prospect record includes key informations: name, email, phone number, company, source, how they heard about you, the product or service they are interested in, budget range, timeline, assigned rep, lead status, and notes. This information helps you manage and track engagement based on where each lead stands in the conversion process. New leads usually come through a form where they fill in some of this information. Once submitted, the lead is automatically assigned a sales rep for follow-up. When you're ready to start converting prospects, you either capture their details through the form. If you already have their information, engage them based on your current level of interaction. From there, you take strategic actions like assigning a sales rep or sending a follow-up email sequence. To automate this process, I use the on record updated trigger and selected the lead database I mentioned earlier. Then I added a branching action to split the workflow based on lead status. This allows me to customize the next step for each stage of the funnel. In this workflow, I use 4 lead statuses: new lead, contacted lead, warm lead, and hot lead. Whenever a lead status is updated, the system automatically sends out a tailored email based on their current status. Here's how the statuses work. New lead, the lead that just filled out the form. Contacted lead, you've reached out via email or phone, but the conversion hasn't moved forward. Warm lead, the lead has shown interest and asked questions, but isn't ready to commit yet. Hot lead is actively engaging and clearly interested in moving forward. For each of these statuses, whenever the record is updated, an email is sent, as I've said earlier. So now we'll go over the email prompts or the emails that will be sent to them. For the new lead, we have the subject: welcome, let's explore how we can help. I, the lead's name: thank you for reaching out. I saw your interest in the service and product they are interested in. I would love to learn more about your goals. Would you be open to call this week to explore how we can help you reach your goals or project? Feel free to pick a time that works for you. There's a meeting link. Looking forward to connecting. For the contacted lead, here's the email that will be sent. Just following up, ready when you are, is the subject. I, the their name. Just wanted to circle back on our recent chat about the service or product they're interested in. Let me know if you have a chance to think about our conversion or review the materials I sent. If you have any questions or timing has shifted, I'm happy to adjust. Here's my calendar again in case you like to continue the conversion. There's a link to schedule a meeting. Talk to you soon. For the warm lead, here's the subject. Let's take the next step in your service and product interest project. Remember in the record I showed previously, there's a colon based on the service on the product they are interested in. So the service and product interest here is going to be replaced by what the lead wants. So for the body, name, thanks for connecting with us. I love hearing about your project, and it sounds like a great fit between what you need and what we offer in the products or service they're interested in. Whenever you're ready, I'll be happy to walk you through a tailored solution or share relevant case studies. Would you be open to a quick 15 to 20 minutes call to explore the next steps? Here's a link to my calendar. Looking forward to chatting. For the hot lead, here's the email that will be sent. The subject, ready when you are. Let's launch this. Name, appreciate the urgency on your hand. It's clear this project is a priority and we are ready to move fast with you. Based on what you shared, our team can hit the ground running with service or product interest. I have outlined a few options and timelines that match your goals and budget. Let's set up a kickoff call to finalize the plan and get things moving. Grab a time here, there's a link. We are excited to make this happen. Talk to you soon. With this, the workflow comes to an end and you can publish. Workflow automation makes managing these processes seamless, organized, and consistent, helping you respond faster, staying on top of communication, and ultimately close more deals. Now, I'll call on Ayo to talk to us more about how the birthday workflow works.
So thank you very much, Nicola. That was very insightful. Um, so today I will be speaking on birthday automation, and which is one of the fun part of automation, because this is not this is not a niche based, or this is not specific to a niche or to an industry. It's something anyone can try out, or it's something anyone can do basically. So first of all, so I'll be walking you through how birthday automation works here on dashboard. So first of all, we have our trigger, which is on schedule, and see that from here. So it's a, from the option, the type, we have one time and recurring. So in this case, the birthday is a recurring type of schedule. So we'll be picking out recurring. So the time of the day, which is 2 o'clock. So depending on when you want email to be sent to the recipients. You can pick your time. So for this sake of this video, we begin 2 o'clock. So then we move to find record. So in our find record, we'll be using a database, a contact database. So let me just walk you through the database. Yeah, so here we are. So this is a database for that. So you can see we have the name, the last name, the customer type, their emails, and the date of birth, which is the important part here, and their age. So moving forward. So moving forward. So all right. So then we move to the loop. So we are going to be looping this. So the item we'll be finding here is from record. We'll be finding the contacts from our database. So this is a very actually this birthday automation is a very simple automation. It's very, very simple. If I would want to start automation, birthday automation, I would want to start it because it's a very simple and easy type of automation you can do. So then we move to the calculate. So execute formula. So what execute formula does it helps you calculate stuff. So in this case, we are calculating the age of the recipient of our email. So it's going to like go to the date of birth. So the date of birth of the person from the record we have. So it's going to calculate the date of birth for that person. So then this is the part where we are sending the email. So here is send the email. The next process is send the email to the sender, which is in this case, which is me. So the first name. So from our record, we have the first name of the person, the recipient. So and from our record also we have the last name. So it's going to pick it from there. So the recipient email from our record, you already have email. So this will pick the email, which is here. Sorry. So the subject of our email is going to be happy birthday. So the first name of the person that's receiving the email. So and the body of our email. So just for the sake of this tutorial, yeah, I'm going to be composing using the very short happy birthday message. So which is something you can tweak, you can do it as well. Just happy birthday to the first name of the person. Yeah. So we have hope you have an amazing day. Regards. So this is basically everything for the automation. So and Marvelous, can you just like tell them how fun it is to start your journey in automation with birthday? Because I know it's a very exciting part of automation. You can just like give them instances how like they can share with their friends and all and stuff.
Yeah, thank you, Ayo, for that. I'm going to share my journey with workflow automation, and one thing that I brought to the table today is a very small and straightforward workflow for people to actually learn from, which is daily reports. This is for business owners, basically, business owner or team, or people that have team members to get reports from them. So, and this workflow is being triggered when the team members or your team members or your customers or your team members fills a form. You are able to get a report from them, and like Shegun said earlier when he was talking about actions, different actions that we have on Opendashboard, he made mention of AI content, Opendashboard AI content, which I used in this form to generate content summary for the manager. So now let's dive in. Let's dive deep into the use case. So the trigger was on record created, and this is when a form is being filled. The team members filled a form. As you can see from the form, we have the challenges faced today, the name, the task in progress, work summary for today, plan for tomorrow, your department, pending tasks, date, task completed. And when you submit your form, the form gets triggered, the workflow gets triggered automatically, and the AI generates a summary and send it as a email to the manager to get a daily summary of what is being done in the team daily per person. And here is the email that's been sent. Like I use myself as the recipient for this email as the manager. So once my team member fill this form, I get a summary of what they have been doing in that for that day in my email. So this is basically the whole thing. And trust me, I will really want you to try this this workflow automation. It is very easy, it is very straightforward. So next thing we'll be talking about is our final takeaway. And I'll be starting with you guys. I would love to know, well, what is your final takeaway as regards workflow automation on Open Dashboard? What do you think, and what is your advice to people that are interested in starting their journey with workflow automation? Yeah, um, Modular.
Thank you, Marvelous. This session has been really insightful. And a key takeaway for me is to start small. If you're just getting into workflow automation, you can start with something simple and meaningful. Well, one great place to start is to automate birthday emails to your team members or your friends, or maybe families too. It's easy to set up, add, add a personal touch. It helps you build confidence in using automation tools. You could start small, build with intentions, and grow confidently. Next person, I'll ask Shegun to give his own key takeaway.
Okay, thank you, Modula, for that. From my point of view, yeah, you really can build powerful automations by chaining together tools and integrations together to achieve whatever is your desired system. For example, you can have a trigger such that when people fill in your Google form or your form in Open Dashboard, you automatically send them an email using Gmail, and they receive it. You can also build a workflow and automation such that it triggers every Monday by 9 a.m. Then it goes to Apollo to go and find new leads based on certain criteria that you set, new leads in your industry. Find their contact information, the name, the email address, the company phone number, the company website, and any information that is that is available publicly. Then the next step could be using a web scraping tool to go to their website and go pull up information on their website. Then the next tool would be to use an LLM, an AI tool to generate a personalized intro email for them. Then the next step is to use the intro email and send it to this person via Gmail. Then delay for 2 weeks, then send follow-ups, and delay for maybe another week, another 2 weeks, then send another follow-up. What I just explained is really just lead generation and lead follow-up, on autopilot. So you can actually build that with workflow automation. And that's the power of combining several tools and integration. And open dashboard has several integrations, and every day we are adding new integrations, based on people's requests. So yeah, that's my key takeaway here. Combine tools and really just automate your work. So next is, I believe this is Ayo. For how workflow can help you save time.
Yeah, thank you, Shagun. Um, how workflow can help me save time basically, and how workflow at the save time is like there are a lot of repetitive tasks that takes like a lot of time, meaningful time to do something basically. That I think what workflow has helped me build um, a more easier workflow because I tend to like okay focus on the things that matter and just let the automation process do its thing and I'll get at the end of the day I get the best results. So also in terms of the takeaways from the seminar, it's I would love to say we should just have fun in the process of learning automation because you you should admit the fact that you can't start up as big as possible. You just have to, like modular regulation, we should start small, basically. So, or we should also tend to not see automation as this very high mountain that is meant for only the smart people. We should start as small as possible, and also we should have fun with it. Automation is not something you do for you can't. It's not every time you have to automate for okay for work purposes. You can automate messages for your friends and family, and that gets the messages for them, gets the reminders for them, so that you can just do the simple things and basically have fun while in your process of learning automation and knowing to the fact that you don't have to have everything figured out in your process so you can little by little. And we are also available for you here. You can reach out to us anytime if you are having like if you are stuck. Also our tutorials are online so which you can follow. So basically, so thank you very much. So I'll be moving back to Marvelous to move us to the next segment of the seminar.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate. And this is to everyone listening to us. Um, if you are still if you are still doing everything manually in 2025, you should be using Open Dashboard. You should be using workflow automation. And trust me, workflow automation with Open Dashboard is like having a digital team member who never sleeps, who never forgets, and never complains. If you are ready to make your life easier, sign up on Open Dashboard today. And if you need help setting up your first workflow, hit us up by sending a message to hi at opendashboard.co.